My name is Fernando Murillo. I am from the University of Buenos Aires. I am director of a research program called Interdesign for Sustainable Urban Development. I will present a methodology called A Compass for Cities. I will split the presentation in four major parts. The first part will be dealing specifically on the challenges in city planning. The second part will be an explanation about this participatory methodology and why it's important. The third part will be the application cases. And the fourth part will be some conclusion. Going specifically on what is important in terms of these challenges, I will say that when we see the cities today, we have a clear duality. We have informal cities, formal cities, produced by different urban frameworks. And of course, people living in different conditions. So the major challenge that we have in terms of progressive human rights, we will say that the current paradigm is eviction and massive regularization of land, and it's extremely necessary to shift to a model in which human rights can be measured and can be promoted. A second challenge is participation. And we need to shift from the model in which the state presents some proposal for the population to say yes or not, to a model in which people really participate and self-organize to associate with the state in the program. In the third part, we need to consider public works. Infrastructure is the model that is dominated, and we need to shift to a model in which there are prevention of informality and also construction of resilience communities. And finally, the fourth challenge is regulatory framework, because so far land markets are somehow deregulated and land markets are speculative, and we need to move away from this for a much more pro-poor planning in which incentive exists for land tenure. Why a compass? Second part. We talk about a compass because a city is a place in which can be extremely unfriendly for the poor. And even for government, how to address the issue of the informal city is difficult. So we believe that a compact is a way in which we can harmonize the program of the people, what the people really want, and what the government wants. And to put in harmonization is extremely important. So how to do this? I will present this model of the compass in which is structured in four major axes. On the north, we can see that is human rights, in which we are measuring the fulfillment of human rights specifically through different indicators. On the south, we can see that there are community and social organizations, because we understand that human rights is not working on the vacuum. On the contrary, it's working in a strong community organization. People organize to achieve their human rights. On the east, we can see public works, and we understand that there are extremely important infrastructure to be done. And on the west, we can see regulation, because we understand that without this combination of public works and regulations, it's not sustainable. It's only the state investing in infrastructure, but the land market completely deregulated. We target five major issues, that is land and housing. We understand that land and housing are extremely important for sustainability of community. Infrastructure, that is the physical construction, water and sanitation particularly, but also electricity, also transport, basic social services, schools, education, mobility, and sustainability, understanding sustainability not only social in terms of income and jobs, but also especially environmental, that this population is not facing disaster, are not threatened by the different conflicts. Then I will go next to application cases. If you see this diagram, it's trying to show that this methodology, although originally was designed by a multidisciplinary team to target specifically slums and informal settlements, one per one, to really understand what are the problems that each one is living. Also, along the time and along the experience of application was growing up to apply in different scales, and we believe that this is the right way to really achieve the problems, to achieve solutions, because somehow when you apply informal settlement per one and you don't have a citywide upgrade strategy and prevention, then the problem of informal settlement never ends and continue and expand. And even we have experience applying the methodology at level of national and regional. And we understand that if you see the diagrams, you have some migrant corridors. We also understand that one of the major production of informal settlement is the issue of forced displacement. People by conflict or by natural disaster are forced to leave their places and ending up living in informal settlements. And this consideration of rural and urban linkages are extremely important. Going to the third case, informal settlement, I will talk about Los Pinos, that is one neighborhood in the outskirts of Buenos Aires that is completely built by their own people. We believe that this is really a clear demonstration of building the right to the city by the people themselves. And if you see the diagram, it's showing per sector what are the areas in which it's necessary to introduce and to reconcile the state plans with the community plans. And in the diagram, it is showing that although public works is of course important, the most important is to attack regulatory framework. When we have done this, the people in the settlement immediately understood the idea of the compass, and in parallel along the process was produced, and they were producing their own information, but also their own plans. We invite the municipality to also take part in this, and working together they found solution. If you see some of the pictures of the area, people invest a lot of money in permanent construction, but they are facing problem of flooding, different conflicts, and they develop their own community planning. And the municipality took this community plan to really develop an urban planning regulatory code that was creating the framework to make it formal. So for the compact, this is a good example of moving forward from informal to harmonized formal, but without changing their initially setting. Second case, city-wide upgrade and prevention. The picture is showing the city of Buenos Aires, actually the metropolis of Buenos Aires, in which you have very, very different type of informal settlements. And the compass in this case was applied to really define a profile of informal settlement, respecting and understanding their particularities and which different public policies should be applied, because to apply the same public policy to all informal settlement can be a typical mistake. A second, within the metropolis of Buenos Aires, a municipality that is in the outskirts, that is called Luján, is facing a particular problem. On one hand, a strong resistance from the population to accept some urban planning code, because that code, as you can see in the picture, it was promoting the expansion of the city on low density, specifically with gay communities that somehow was producing a lot of problems in terms of flooding, a problem that the city was already facing from long time. So the compass in this case was applied, invited by the municipality, in which the municipality present to the different communities the results of what was the analysis of the particular problem of the communities in city, in the border of the city, in the localities. And was very interesting to see, if you see the diagrams, that the different localities was facing particular problems specifically related to flooding, and was one of the major challenges in terms of how to harmonize the municipality priority in terms of expansion with the community demand in terms of reducing flooding. So the compass in this case contribute a way forward in which densification and reducing the expansion, the horizontal expansion of the city was a solution. A third case is Cochabamba, in which a very strong participatory process was applied in different communities. And the compass, as you can see, the diagram was showing clearly that the need of resolving some of the critical issues like water, like overcrowding in housing, like land tenure, was really targeting the problem of the expansion of the city. Cochabamba was expanding very rapidly, and rapid urbanization was the major issue. So an association of NGOs together with the alcaldía or local government was reaching a consensus in terms of applying the methodology to control urban expansion, promoting much more sustainable way of participation of the population, having a say in terms of urban regulations. The next case is about Suacha in Colombia. Suacha is a neighborhood in the outskirts of Bogota. in which the government was responding to the need of the displaced population, promoting social housing complexes. The population was not very happy because the social housing complex was not a solution in terms of housing for the problems. So the compacts in this case was promoted initially by an NGO to really gather the communities that was not happy and proposing an alternative to social housing complex. And through a strongly participatory process in which people can demonstrate even graphically with the diagram of the compacts was a way to convince the local government to create alternatives. The conclusion was, first of one, a policy for recovering public spaces like the one that you can see in the picture. Second, an alternative for regularization of those houses that the government was planning to demolish to recover, that is the one that you can see in the picture also. Very simple, just painting, just readjusting some of the measures to really match the building code of the area. Next case is Kigali in Rwanda in Africa, in which the government is embarked in a national habitat strategy. And we believe that this is also a very good alternative to not only to tackle informal settlement one per one, that is good according to their own need, but also to have a national view of how to implement systematically very different modalities and ways to implement informal settlement upgrading, with a component that is extremely strong in terms of prevention, creating land markets for the poor, creating incentive for social housing and different aspects. In this case, you can see that the compact was showing a very strong regulatory framework, but with a very poor public policy implementation in terms of public works. Strong, as you know, Rwanda came out from a genocide, so working strongly in terms of social mobilization and social organization is the key in terms of really building communities. Next case and final is the post-conflict planning. We can see in this picture the terrible consequence of the war and conflict, like the case of Palestine. And you can see also in the map that most of the people living in the Gaza Strip, for instance, are refugees. So really how to address the issue of refugees in a much more sustainable manner that also is promoting their human rights and respecting the needs that they have and their own plan for not only for survival, even for development. That was the challenge of the compacts in this particular case. And you can see in this case the compact was applied not so much to solve problem that was already in place, was much more for designing new solution. And the picture that you can see there is a project that was developed by the UN in terms of rehousing those refugees whose house was demolished. And in that case, the compact was really helpful in terms of reorganizing, seeing and understanding what is the major need of the people and how to design in a much more proactive way and matching the need of the refugees, that in terms of psychology and also the Islamic culture is extremely important to respect. Finally, I want to share some lessons learned from the experience. As you can see in the picture, you see common people from the informal settlement holding a diagram of the compass, showing to the local government what they are proposing as a plan, not only as a diagnosis, also with concrete action. And the local government taking note on how to harmonize their plans with the community plans, and we believe that this is a major achievement. And the result of this, as you have seen in the previous cases that I present, was practical action, was implementation of public places, housing, and so on and so forth. So we want to contribute this particular methodology as a way forward to implement the new urban agenda. Also, I want to emphasize the importance of linking governmental with community plans at multiple levels, because if citywide and regional perspectives are not taken into account, it's very difficult to deal with the issue of informal settlements, because it's a way in which a problem is repeating, and this is what exactly we want to stop. Finally, participatory, preventive, and resilient cities is a challenge that should be taken into account holistically and with an integrative public policies. And we believe that any public policy should support human rights and also humanitarianism, as you can see in the different projects, as a cornerstone to build resilient territories. Thank you very much.